The British feared him, and he was only 23 years old. This is the real story of Bhagat Singh. Born in 1907, under British rule, Bhagat Singh grew up surrounded by stories of resistance. But after the Jallianwala Bagh tragedy, everything changed. That tragedy lit a fire inside him. As he grew older, he joined India's revolutionary movement. But Bhagat Singh wasn't driven by anger alone. He believed freedom also meant justice. After the death of Lala Lajpat Rai, Bhagat Singh and his comrades decided to act. Later, he made a bold statement inside a government building, not to destroy, but to make the British hear India's voice. He was arrested, tried, and executed in 1931. He was only 23. But Bhagat Singh did not die as just a man. He became a legend.
And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I made it from start to finish. From writing the script, to generating the visuals, to creating the voice, to improving the audio, and finally editing everything together into one cinematic shot. The tools I used were ChatGPT for the script, Meta AI for the visuals, Lover Voice AI for the narration, Audio Editor for boosting the voice, and InShot for editing everything together. So if you want to make videos like this too, let me show you my full process. The first thing I used was ChatGPT to help me write the documentary script. And honestly, this step saves me a lot of time, because before you even think about visuals or voice, you first need a story. For this documentary, I wanted to make a short historical video about Bhagat Singh, so I needed a script that felt emotional, cinematic, historical, and easy to understand. So instead of trying to write everything from scratch, I used ChatGPT to help me structure the story faster. After getting the script ready, the next thing I used was Meta AI to generate the visuals. This is basically where the documentary starts coming to life. Now one thing that helps a lot here is that once the script is done, I already know what scenes I need. So instead of randomly generating visuals, I break the story into scenes. For example, for this Bhagat Singh documentary, I needed scenes like a young revolutionary walking through colonial India, dramatic street scenes, British soldiers, tense crowd moments, and emotional final scenes. And when I generate in Meta AI, I try not to use weak prompts. Instead of saying something too basic like Bhagat Singh in India, I make the prompt more detailed. Something like a young Indian revolutionary in 1920s British India, standing in a tense colonial street, realistic, cinematic lighting, historical documentary style. That gives much better results. And instead of trying to create everything in one go, I generate the visuals scene by scene. That gives me more control and helps the final documentary feel more consistent. Sometimes I get a good result quickly. Other times, I need to regenerate or adjust the prompt. And that's completely normal. Usually, if something looks wrong, I just tweak the wording. For example, I might change street to colonial street, people to Indian protest crowd, dramatic to tense cinematic lighting. Small prompt changes can make a huge difference. So once I had enough strong scenes, I saved the best ones and moved to the next step. And that was generating the narration. Once the visuals were ready, the next tool I used was Lover Voice AI for the narration. And this part matters a lot. Because even if the visuals look amazing, if the voice sounds bad, flat, or robotic, the documentary loses a lot of its impact. I don't just pick the first one. I listen carefully and choose the one that feels the most natural and the most believable for the type of story I'm telling. And another small trick I use is adjusting the script slightly if the AI voice doesn't read it well. After generating the narration in Love Voice AI, I take it into Audio Editor. This step is very simple, but it helps a lot. Because raw AI voice can sometimes sound too soft, too flat, too quiet, or just not strong enough. And for documentary content, the voice needs to feel present and powerful. So inside the audio editor, I mainly use it to make the narration sound louder, cleaner, stronger, and easier to hear. I don't try to over-edit it. I just want it to sound more polished and more professional. Because even a small improvement in audio can make the whole documentary feel better. So once I boost and clean the voice a little, I export the improved version. And now I've got the script, the visuals, the narration, and the cleaned audio. So the final step is putting everything together. And for that, I use InShot. This is where everything finally comes together. Once I open InShot, I import all the things I created in the earlier steps. That includes the visual scenes from Meta AI, the voice narration from Love Voice AI, the boosted version from Audio Editor, and background music if needed. And one of the biggest editing tips I can give is this: edit around the voice, not around the visuals. That means I place the narration first, then I build the visuals around what the voice is saying. So if the narration is talking about Bhagat Singh's courage, I match that with a strong and heroic visual. If it talks about British rule or oppression, I use darker and more serious scenes. If it talks about sacrifice or death, I use slower and more emotional visuals. That's what makes the documentary feel like a real story instead of just random AI clips. Then I start trimming the scenes to match the pacing. This part is very important because pacing controls retention. If the clips stay too long, the viewer can lose interest. If they move too fast, the emotional moments don't land properly. So I try to balance it. Sometimes I cut faster to keep energy. Sometimes I hold a scene a little longer so it feels more emotional. Then after that, I add background music. And this step matters a lot too. Because the right music can make the documentary feel emotional, intense, powerful, or sad. But I always make sure the music stays under the voice. The narration should always be clear. So I lower the music enough so it supports the video without covering the words. Then once everything is in place, I do a final check. I make sure the visuals match the script. The narration sounds clear. The timing feels smooth. And the whole story flows well from beginning to end. Sometimes I also add captions or small text if I want to make it more engaging. And once I'm happy with everything, I export the final video. And that's basically my full AI documentary workflow. So yeah, that's exactly how I made this AI documentary from start to finish using only simple tools. And honestly, this shows that you don't need expensive software or a crazy setup to create something cinematic. If you want, I can also make more videos showing the exact prompts I used, how I write my documentary scripts, how I make thumbnails, or how I edit these videos faster on mobile. If this video helped you, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.